Let's see what is there in the poem. Now we'll count to 12 and we will all keep still. This is the first two lines, and the last two lines are, now I will count up to 12 and you keep quiet and I will go. So this repetition of counting to 12, it's there in the first two lines and also in the last two lines. Maybe what the poet is trying to do is he is talking about 12 hours. So 12 hours this side and 12 hours that side. So it becomes a complete circle. So maybe what he is talking about is the totality of experience. Or it could also be a strategy about stabilizing the emotions and the turbulence which goes on inside us. Counting to 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So when we are counting, then that helps us to focus. So maybe what he is trying to tell us is to focus, to think about our priorities, to put things in the right order, and then to focus on the right things. In the second stanza, he talks about not using language. So language connects, language helps in communication. But here, the point of view and the perspective of the poet regarding language is something different. Here he presents language as something that divides. I speak a language which you may not understand. You may speak a language which I may not understand. So there comes a gap of understanding, and that gap is created by language. So he wants us not to use any language. For once on the face of earth, let's not speak in any language. Maybe what he is trying to tell here is that for once, let us stop talking about divisions. Let us stop talking about differences in identities. Let's stop for 1 second and not move our arms so much. Arms. These are arms. So as we speak, we have a habit of moving our arms in order to put emphasis, to put stress, and to assert something, in order to make what we say more convincing for others. And this is also an arm, a weapon. So the word arm has got two meanings. So he is asking us not to use our arms, not to threaten others, not to feel so insecure inside that we need to assert ourselves by using our arms, whether this or this. In the next stanza, he talks about the moment being exotic, different. Why the moment will be different? Because it will be something unprecedented, something which has never happened before. Because there won't be any rush, any hurry. Rush hour traffic. What is rush hour traffic? When people have to go to their workplaces in the morning, and there are a lot of people and cars and vehicles on the road, and that causes a traffic jam. That is rush hour traffic. So the rush, and there won't be any engines, no machines. Everything will stop. It would be an exotic moment without rush, without engines. And because of all that, because of people not using any language, because of people not moving their arms, this and this, because of people not being in a hurry, because of machines not running, we would all be together in a sudden strangeness. Yes, that would be so strange, so peaceful, so soothing, so comforting. No hurry, no noise, just quiet silence. Just imagine about it. As you imagine, you will feel so relaxing inside. Think of it something like that. You cannot relax, you cannot rest, you cannot sleep in the middle of too much noise, too much commotion. So you need a quiet environment around you. You need silence, a cocoon of silence. So this is what the poet is trying to build. First, he wants us to relax and then to reflect, to think about our own self, to look inside. Next stanza, he talks about fishermen and the salt gatherers. Fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales. You know whales? Those huge animals, the biggest living mammals. For centuries, human beings have been hunting whales, and it's not a good sight. When whales are hunted, then the sea turns red with their blood. And it's a very sad scenario. So that will stop. And that would be such a good thing happening. Maybe what the poet is trying to tell us here is that people will stop exploiting nature. And then in the next two lines, he says, and the man gathering salt would look at his hard hands. The man gathering salt. Here, he is most probably referring to the salt gatherers of Bolivia. The salt plains, the largest salt plains in the world. It's there in South America. So maybe he is referring to that. Those people are poor, they work very hard. Many of them go blind because of walking in the salt plains. And it's a back-breaking job, and it's so much of hard work that they are forced to retire by the age of 35, only 35. Just imagine. The usual retirement age is 60, so they retire much before that, 35. Almost 30 years before the usual age. Why? Because their body does not permit that much of hard work. So those salt gatherers, because of their exposure, their skin being exposed to the salt, so it corrodes and it's very painful. So they will get time to look at their hard hands. So maybe here the poet is referring to exploitation of people by other people. So this stanza talks about human beings exploiting nature, about human beings exploiting other human beings. So all that will stop when we decide to keep quiet and connect with our own self and connect with the others and connect with the world. Next, he talks about wars, different types of wars: biological warfare, then chemical warfare, then this conventional warfare, and with guns, the conventional warfare with guns, and then the nuclear warfare, right? About nuclear winter. Those who prepare green wars, biological warfare, wars with gas, chemical warfare, wars with fire, the conventional warfare with bombs and other things, victory with no survivors, nuclear war, would put on clean clothes. Why clean clothes? Because it is assumed that they were wearing clothes which had blood stains, mark of the bad deeds which they have done to other people. War is not good. War is about killing other human beings. War is about planning to kill others. And that can never be good. How can murder be justified? So he talks about ending war. And all of them will put clean clothes and walk about with their brothers. Yes, peace, togetherness, brothers, brotherhood, in the shade, doing nothing. And that also in the shade. Such a beautiful, nice way of imagining about a time when there won't be any conflict, but only collaboration, constructive collaboration. So the poet is imagining a time when human beings will not fight with each other, but will work together with each other, not harming each other, but taking care of each other. Those who prepare green wars, wars with gas, wars with fire, victory with no survivors, would put on clean clothes and walk about with their brothers in the shade, doing nothing. As the poet has said many times till now, about doing nothing, about keeping still, about silence, about being quiet. So therefore, he wants to clarify. He says, what I want should not be confused with total inactivity, because life is what it is about. Life is about living it. So he is not wanting us to go into a coma, to just do nothing, sit there and daydream. No, he is not telling us to do that. I want no truck with death. I want no truck with death. Truck here means agreement. So he is not encouraging a death-like experience where the body is not doing anything, not doing any outward action. So he doesn't want that. He is not advocating that. So that's why he clarifies, what I want should not be confused with total inactivity. Life is what it is about. I want no truck with death. Then he further elaborates about what he wants, what he expects, what he wishes. If we were not single-minded means if we were not focused about the wrong things. What are the wrong things? About keeping our lives moving, about our selfish needs and desires, about our momentary gratifications, about our commodification, and for once could do nothing, perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness. And what is the sadness? Of never understanding ourselves, never understanding our true needs, true desires, true wishes, and of threatening ourselves with death. We do not know ourselves. We are not sure about our priorities. And that's why our thoughtless actions cause more harm than good. And that harm is again directed towards our own self. Because when we fail to connect with ourselves, when we fail to understand our true needs, when we fail to understand others, when we fail to build a sync with the world of nature, then we are lost, and we gradually pave the way for our destruction, for our own destruction, because we then do not believe in togetherness, we then do not believe in peace, do not believe in collaboration. And to further explain his position and his perspective, the poet says, perhaps the earth can teach us, as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. Such a beautiful comparison. See, he compares how our life should be with what is happening in the nature. In the nature, seasons follow each other. Things grow in spring, and then the trees shed leaves in autumn, and then in winter nothing grows, especially where it snows. So there everything stops growing and things go into hibernation. And then after winter comes spring, and with spring again growth starts. So this is what the poet wants us to do. He wants us to introspect and to connect with the self, and to connect with others, and to connect with the world. He wants us to kindle our spirit and to feel that our spirit is a part of something much bigger than us. He ends the poem with the dictum, with the instruction, now I will count up to 12 and you keep quiet and I will go. So he ends the poem with an instruction for us to be more observant, to be better listeners, to be more aware of the world around us, like that monk inside the cave with heightened sensibilities, to be more sensitive towards others. This is a beautiful poem about things which truly matter and which can definitely make our life better and make this world a better place. Thank you very much.